In the early summer of 1876, news reached our camp that white soldiers were marching to force us onto reservations, a fate we greatly resisted. When the grass was high enough to feed our ponies and restore their strength, we traveled up the Tung River, intending to meet Sitting Bull's band at Greasy Grass, Little Bighorn. Just days before we meant to depart, word arrived that soldiers were approaching from the south, intent on fighting the Sioux. We immediately dispatched riders with the news. Our Cheyenne group, 57 warriors strong, launched a swift attack, catching the soldiers by surprise at the big bend of the Rosebud. In that battle, we sensed the Great Spirit beside us, and we overcame the soldiers, driving them south to ensure they could not threaten us again. After this victory, our villages moved to Greasy Grass to join with Sitting Bull's Sioux. Our Cheyenne chiefs, like two moons, led us with great skill. I was minding horses downstream when a runner burst in, yelling, "Soldiers are coming!" I hastily drove the herd west before riding to my lodge for my rifle. By then, Reno's men had dismounted, forming a battle line. We assaulted them fiercely, but Reno soon regrouped his men and retreated toward the woods. They fled across the river, scrambling up a steep bluff. Some of us chased them until Chief Little Wolf rode into our midst, shouting, "Turn back! More soldiers are coming from downstream." My friend, Kills in the Night, had lost his horse in the fight, so I pulled him onto mine, and we rode forward. After crossing the river, we spotted a loose horse. My friend leapt down and caught it. Gunsmoke and dust clouded the air. During the chase, my horse was shot dead, and I was struck by bullets in my foot and shoulder. Dazed, I collapsed, but Kills in the Night returned, lifting me up as we went back to the fight. The battle ended swiftly, with warriors overpowering the soldiers. We crushed them completely. That night, celebrations erupted throughout the camp. Though we lost 7 Cheyenne warriors, we felt pride in helping to defeat Custer. As night fell, word spread. More troops were advancing along Greasy Grass. At sunrise the next day, I joined my people across the river, where we fought again with Reno's troops. My foot had swollen badly, throbbing with pain, but I wrapped it with a rope to deaden the ache. By noon, we packed our camp and moved upriver toward the Bighorn Mountains. The morning sun rose over Little Bighorn Valley, the sky clear and cloudless. The air was still, and weeks of dry weather had left the earth cracked, stirring dust with every step. Deeds kicked clumps of buffalo grass along the lodgepole trail with his moccasin, sending grasshoppers leaping aside. Then his toe struck something solid. Looking down, he saw a dull square box, unlike any tool his people used back in the great riverside camp. Such a curious find required investigation, so the boy knelt beside it. Deeds was only 10 winters old. He had lived deep in Humpapa hunting territory, far from the white men's expanding towns. His childish curiosity was stronger than a warrior's caution. He had not yet learned to be suspicious. The box had landed with its lid partly open, but still wedged shut. From the sheath on his belt, Deeds took an old bone-handled skinning knife and worked it beneath the edge. As he pried, he gazed toward the horizon, hoping to see his older brother. Brownback was still on the ridge, gathering their grandfather's ponies. Once he returned with the herd, Deeds planned to choose his favorite horse and help take them to camp. Their grandfather, Four Horns, would then give away the ponies, along with all their grandmother's possessions. Deeds found it difficult to accept his grandmother's death. She had passed before dawn, while the drums of the scalp dance still sounded through the night. He could not picture camp without her, her hands scraping hides, her arms laden with firewood or wild turnips, as she had done every day of his life. Making it more mysterious, Sitting Bull had spoken solemnly to the family as they stood by her body. "Her death signals a great event to come," he had said. "Perhaps my vision of enemies falling into our camp will soon be realized." The adults, including Weeping Four Horns, nodded gravely, while Deeds stared at his grandmother's motionless body. Soon after, Brownback had led him away to fetch the ponies. Finally, the box lid came free. The box contained broken pieces of hardtack, the strange dry bread of the Wasatch. The boy lifted a piece to his nose, finding none of the familiar warmth of fry bread in its scent. When he tentatively bit into the crumbly piece, he knew immediately this was his first taste of the white man's food. The sudden pounding of hooves on the stony path made him look up, expecting to see Brownback returning with the ponies. Still chewing the odd bread, he spun around when he realized the sound came from behind him. 3 blue-coat soldiers came charging down the trail, their carbines barking as they fired. "He's got the supplies!" one yelled as gunfire shattered the quiet morning. Before Deeds could scream or flee, a bullet tore through his small chest, throwing him to the ground. Brownback came running toward the gunfire on foot, with an Oglala youth called Drags the Rope close behind him. Drags had been searching for his stray ponies that had wandered during night grazing. Now he ran to aid his hunk papa cousins, but one glance told him he was too late. Young Deeds lay dead, his lungs torn apart by the soldier's bullet. The mounted troopers kept shooting as the older boys approached. One with stripes on his uniform appeared to be leading the others. Dodging bullets, Drags used his warrior training to quickly assess the danger. He crawled through the tall grass to where Brownback knelt, paralyzed by fear. "Run to the village and sound the alarm," he urged. "I'll hold them off." Once Brownback had escaped, Drags jumped up and began running downhill in a zigzag pattern. If he could reach the box elder trees marking Medicine Tail Coulee, he could follow the dry creek bed to the river in safety. Later, he might bring warriors back to retrieve Deeds' body. With every stride, he expected to feel bullets or hear cavalry riding nearer. The old warrior's saying repeated in his mind, "Today is a good day to die." Yet no bullets struck him as he ran. When he was out of their range, the soldiers ceased firing entirely. Looking back, he saw all 3 riding down Lodgepole Trail, the ancient path across Wolf Mountain from Rosebud Creek to Greasy Grass. If they continued, they'd ride directly into the southern edge of the great village where the Hunk Papas camped. Somehow, sensing more soldiers waited on the divide, Drags knew these shots marked the beginning of a battle that would change everything. He reached camp just after Brownback, having taken the long route along Tulloch's Creek before cutting across to Medicine Tail. His report of only 3 soldiers at first caused little concern until new warnings arrived moments later. Then he fought alongside Crazy Horse through the intense battle that followed. I hope this eyewitness account offers fresh insight into Little Bighorn and the Great Sioux War. Join me next time as I share more first-hand battle stories. Like and subscribe to see more videos from our channel.